Okay, testing 1, 2. Give me 2 seconds here to make certain that we are working properly, because unfortunately we have had gremlins in the system to beat the band over the last couple of days, and we want to make certain everything is where it needs to be beforehand. So far things are looking good. 2 more shakes here. I want to make certain that my audio is, just pardon me for doing this, I want to make certain that's working. And so far I think, let me just check this one more time here for right now. Okay, good. All right, we are ready to go, I think, for right now. That is checked let number last at this point. If you've never tuned in here before, welcome to the show. No singing, no dancing, no fancy cooking, anything like that going on. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick, email address down at the lower section of your screen. We're doing this a little differently tonight for a couple of reasons. Number one, the computer that I'm on right now with this particular webcam is usually reserved for YouTube. I do Twitch and YouTube concurrently. The camera that we use for the other computer is not connected to our main weather computer system, and usually there's a big monitor back here to where I can do both YouTube and Twitch together. Well, tonight the camera has done a very good job of packing up. It's sitting over in its alcove right now, stewing, because it forgot how to route something through its HDMI port. So we're stuck without that until that gets fixed by our engineers, or whatever is going wrong, whatever it might happen to be. We're not going to have the monitor, so we're going to switch over to this alternate view with me down here. Again, this is our live weather blog as of 10:10 Eastern on Thursday the 9th, bringing you a live update as to what's going on. We are located in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We cover North Georgia, Northeast Alabama, Southeast Tennessee, and Western North Carolina. So if you live in those areas and have questions about the forecast, great. If you don't live in those areas and have questions or just want to say hi, go ahead and drop those into the stream chat function, and we'll be glad to tell you a little bit more about what may be going on in that area. If there's a question we can't answer, we'll do our best to answer it, but we'll give you an idea as to what's going on. This is not in our viewing area in Chattanooga. This is an area that I used to work in about 30 years ago. Where does the time go? Rogers, Arkansas, part of that area between South Missouri and down into southeastern Oklahoma. News 5 over in Arkansas, Fort Smith, Fayetteville area, and this covers a lot of that territory into and around that particular location. What you're looking at is, I believe it used to be Highway 540. It is now Highway or Interstate 49 that drops down from Bella Vista into and around the area of Fort Smith, Arkansas, in that area. So what you're seeing here, and I'm featuring this again because, well, number one, we can, but we wanted to show you again what we're looking at out there when it comes to all this particular type of weather. This is what is on the way to where we are in the Tennessee River Valley. This is just one example of what it looks like out there. I'm going to see if maybe we can bring up another possible camera from around Fort Smith. Okay, this will not be the camera you see on there, so let me play this out real quick. What you're looking at there again, Interstate 49 around Rogers, Arkansas. This particular camera is from the area of Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'll take that off the banner there. That is from the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education. That's on the south side of Fort Smith. This is a live picture that you're looking at 10:13 on Thursday evening. So we are seeing, again, some very heavy snowfall coming down in and around Fort Smith. There were a couple of pretty good pictures back over toward Little Rock. Those cameras appear to be offline for right now. Let's go down to Texarkana and show you that mainly what they are looking at for the time being is rain. Although the temperature in Texarkana, last I checked, was about 34 degrees, so it's just above freezing. Again, Texarkana, Arkansas, from WM Vision or Weather Vision as we call this, are one of our camera sponsors. Traffic moving along pretty well there. The farther south you go, let's take a look at Shreveport into around the area of, whoops, that's not right. Let me redo that here. Mainly what we're looking at is just plain rainfall, and that is going to be the way it gets, but this is evidence right here that there is a ton of moisture making its way up from the Gulf of Mexico. Shreveport, Louisiana, heavy rainfall coming down, mist and drizzle out there. See if maybe Memphis is giving us anything. Let's see here, just 1 second. I'm operating, if you've never tuned in before, I do everything. I do audio, video, hosting, everything else of that nature. So this is something that I am doing my best to operate on. Here is Memphis, Tennessee. This is the what you're looking at in the top portion of the screen up here. This is called the flyover. This is at the 4240 Sam Cooper split. It doesn't look like too much in the way of moisture has been winding up here just yet. There are some snow showers taking place into and around the area of western Alabama. We'll take a look at radar coming up here in just a little bit. Here's a view of Protective Stadium from Birmingham, Alabama. You can see the weather instrument, the anemometer, spinning around over on the lower right-hand corner of your screen at the UAB stadium area. Not showing any problems here, but into the course of the next couple of hours, we're going to be seeing a lot of major changes taking place. Let's go real quick. Let me hop out of here real fast so we can see a little bit more as to what's going on. Back toward the area, let's go to radar here and show you. We'll go back to that camera in a minute. Chattanooga in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. We're looking at the area up here. That's the center part. All these bold county lines, that's the News 12 viewing area. And down toward around Birmingham, that's the first arrival of moisture from this particular winter storm. And this is where we will continue to see more moisture overspread the area into tonight. So it's on its way. And the reason I'm showing you these cameras is there's usually a lot of people out there that do a pretty good job of saying, oh, we don't have anything to worry about, nothing's going to happen, I don't have to do anything in the way of preparing for this storm. Well, yes, you do. This is going to be moving our direction through the night, and it's going to be increasing. A lot of what you're looking at here is moisture that is falling into very dry air at the surface. It's been very dry for the last couple of days. It's been chilly and dry, thanks again to high pressure, keeping things very dry for us. Well, as that moisture up top overpowers that dry air on the slant coming down to that lower section of the atmosphere, that is where we will continue to see an increase in moisture over the rest of the night. So all of this is going to start to make its way up our direction. This is just what National Weather Service radar around High Top, Alabama is starting to pick up. And we'll see a lot more of this into the course of the rest of the morning and into tomorrow afternoon as well. So we haven't even started yet here in this area. So very close to us. Taking a look at Kibler, Arkansas. Again, I used to work in Fort Smith, and this was right down the roadway. You're looking at the school, and I believe that's back over toward the police headquarters, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what they've gotten so far. It doesn't look like too much, but there will be a lot more on the way. Taking a look at Little Rock, Arkansas. It was very hazy earlier. It looks like a combination of wet conditions and snowy conditions. It is possible that we're going to be seeing a lot more of that type of activity coming up. 30 degrees at the airport in Little Rock with light snow, fog, and mist coming down, and could be some sleet making its way closer to the site with some heavier snow bands approaching the area. So visibility here might be going downhill, excuse me, relatively soon as this system, again, moves on through. Temperatures in the area just past 10 o'clock. We are basically everyone back below freezing, with the exception of Langston, Alabama. You're at 33 degrees. and that's the only one so far out of this area that is anywhere close to being above freezing, which means we've already got the cold air in place. Now we need that moisture to overpower the dry conditions and drop the potential for more precipitation into the area. So that, again, could be where we start things off. The cold air is there. That's part number one. Part number two, as we just showed you on radar, that's moving over that cold air into that cold air, and that's going to be giving us our problems into around tomorrow morning. Shirley 9101 from the chat function, thank you very much. Glad to hear you're enjoying the content. I would love to join the squad. If I'm on Discord, my handle is something like aonicwdef.com. You'll probably find me on there at some point in time. I don't have that information up. Well, maybe I do. Let me take a look. WDEF Austin Onic. So if you want to sign me up that direction or chat that way, certainly would love that for everything. So thank you very much on that. That's my handle on Twitter on there. So if you'd like to add that there. And welcome to everybody on YouTube as well from earlier tonight. Glad to have the questions and everybody taking a look at what is going on. Let's go ahead and move on from the temperatures and get to the current situation, because this is this right here is almost a textbook system for how you get a winter weather situation started. We've got the area of low pressure developing down in the Gulf of Mexico, and air around the low pressure area rotating counterclockwise. So that's pushing all that moisture. High pressure is working together to move that moisture with the low pressure up this way over the top of the very cold air. So what we've got is a basic, just almost textbook winter weather scenario. I do have to say, last time I saw something like this, the colder air was much farther south in 1999, right around January, about almost 25 years ago, and Jackson, Mississippi picked up a foot of snow from that particular system. Now, it's still too warm for that to happen, because you notice again all of the green in here for rainfall stretching from the panhandle of Florida down to the Texas Gulf Coast. So it's not cold enough for that much snow that far south, but we will be seeing more potential for that coming up into tonight and early tomorrow. We have a winter storm warning in effect. What does that mean? The counties in pink and the bold lined counties, that's the News 12 viewing area. Again, that is for a winter storm situation that is on approach. It's imminent. It's moving into an area, and it should be expected relatively soon. We do see that warning capacity. Sorry about that. I have to repeat a little bit. From Delaware to New Mexico, we have winter storm warnings in effect. And that is where this whole thing is just getting started. Kind of like the system that passed through I-70 and the Midwest last week. My mom back up in Topeka, Kansas, got 17 inches of snow at my old home's backyard back there. So amazing to take a look at that. Now for us, we're going to continue again to see the potential for winter storm conditions moving our direction. So what exactly are we looking at? Broadly speaking, this is where we see again the storm developing tonight, and then as we go into tomorrow morning, right-hand side of the screen, we start to pick up that snow chances as we go into very early on Friday morning. But from the Red River Valley back into around, say, the Mid-South, close to Memphis, that is where we may see the worst possibility of snow, maybe even a foot. Now, what you're looking at here, the numbers on screen derived from a computer model. There's several different models available. If you take a look at a tropical map, when we put all the models on one page, they're called spaghetti plots for a very good reason, all those lines crisscrossing each other on there. This computer model is a little bit more on the liberal side. This is, I believe, it was one of the Barron models, a little bit more broader painted picture on this. So we've got, again, in orange, at the top section of the screen, that again is sleet. Underneath that, we've got freezing rain in the purple. It's kind of hard to see because it really hasn't developed quite much. And then the darker blue shaded categories across the Midwest and Arkansas and Oklahoma, that's spreading eastward. That's snow potential. So this very big mishmash of colors is what we're going to be expecting in general. I do not totally agree with the numbers on here as it moves into our area. What I am in agreement with is what is going to be structured on here when it comes to the different types of precipitation. So we're seeing mostly snow above the Tennessee state line, from Mississippi to Alabama to Georgia into the Carolinas. Anything north of here, I think, is going to be the majority snowfall, with again that best potential of heavier snow all the way back toward the Mid-South and around Little Rock and central Arkansas. What I am most concerned with is this orange and purple area here, with the potential of freezing rain and sleet, again from just south of Chattanooga down into central Georgia and central Alabama. I-20 between Birmingham and Atlanta, this could be almost an impassable, dangerous situation into the next couple of days. Now, this computer model talking about snow zoomed in on the News 12 viewing area is a more conservative model. It does have, again, by noon on Friday, a couple of inches of snow. Again, this is very broad brush painted large for the entire area. I think, on average, most of the area is going to pick up 3 to 5 inches of snow. Now, that being said, anybody who emails me and says, well, I only got 2.75 in my backyard, so you don't know what you're talking about. No, this is the information we present to you that the models give to us. There is nothing in here that guarantees that you're going to get to 5 decimal places that type of snowfall. There's going to be fluctuations even on a very local level. So I think mainly as this comes to an end, and let's go forward from noon on Friday to the end of the snow by about dawn patrol Saturday morning. What I am thinking right now is that, again, there's going to be a lot more snow over portions of Alabama, possibly in the higher elevations around the Tennessee River Valley, and then back toward parts of the Mid-South around Memphis. I think there's going to be a lot more snow, sleet, freezing rain in the higher elevations of Alabama, Georgia, and southeast Tennessee, and back into and around the southern Appalachians into the Carolinas and northeastern Georgia. That, however, is just snowfall. Let's go and take a look at just individual. We saw the map with everything on it. Let's take a look at just sleet pellets, and that is where through about Friday evening we could see the potential of the lion's share of sleet pellets coming down into and around northern Georgia. Fractions of an inch like this, you look at this and say, oh, big deal. What is a hundredth of half a hundredth of an inch? Well, when all that piles up and it gets driven over several hundred or several thousand times, that is where it gets compressed down to an icy layer, and that's just if we had sleet. That is not discounting right there. That is just sleet. That's not taking into account snow and freezing rain. I showed you the snow from earlier. Let's take a look at freezing rain, and this is where the really big concern starts coming out. I don't think we're going to see too much in the way of freezing rain until the atmosphere really starts to kind of wobble back and forth to allow the colder air to the north and the warmer air to the south to do that battle, that sort of step dance, to allow the moisture to come down as either sleet, snow, freezing rain combination, or lean toward freezing rain. And notice again, we don't get too much until we get into and around the area of noon. Now let's go farther and watch into the evening hours, and that's where a lot of this stuff really starts to pick up. That again is going to be with temperatures at or below freezing for most of the day. Now we get into the early evening hours, and there could be some more snowfall and some light sleet, freezing rain, etc., combinations. But here's where it gets really interesting. In the area of this particular oval here, that is where we could see, according to National Weather Service Huntsville, the possibility of 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. And remember, it doesn't take much to cause a lot of problems with a glaze of freezing rain on the ground. It could make travel almost impassable, even though there's hardly anything there. There could also be 2 to 5 inches of snow, again, as an average in and around portions of that area. Higher elevations could get a lot more. Now down here with the blue oval, down toward areas around just south of the News 12 viewing area, there is the possibility. And this information that you see in the text area comes from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City that covers the Atlanta metro area. They are saying this storm has a really good possibility of overperforming the models. And with more moisture coming into very cold air, they're considering the threat of nearly 1/4 of an inch to nearly 1/3 of an inch freezing rain. If there's that much out there, we could talk about very heavy power lines. We could talk about tree limbs that get torn off and land on the power lines, that land on the ground, that cause a lot of problems with freezing in place. We could be looking at major power outages, to say nothing about travel. In the last decade or so, when major winter storms have passed through northern Georgia, we have all seen how Atlanta, pretty much as a whole, does not do well with winter weather. I think that's what we're looking at here between Birmingham and Atlanta, I-20, anything in northern parts of Alabama, northern and central Georgia, because this will be, again, what we see all the way down past Atlanta if the temperatures are correct. Travel could be almost impossible for a day or two between North Alabama, North Georgia, and extreme southern areas of Tennessee. Note back around the area from the southern southeastern area, from the Cumberland Plateau over to North Carolina, there's good odds that we're going to be picking up some freezing rain mixed in with the snow here as well. So it is possible that we could see a lot going on with this storm system as it moves on through. So definitely want to make certain that if you do have to travel or know somebody who is traveling through these areas, you want to make certain that they either know to stay away from there. Over the next few days, be flexible with your travel. If you have to be going through anywhere here, anything past dawn patrol on Friday is basically all bets are off for travel. This is something that, again, may be inconvenient, but you really don't want to be out there traveling if you don't have to. As a veteran of winter weather, growing up and learning how to drive in Topeka, Kansas, well back when I was much younger, I can tell you, if you haven't had practice on driving in this type of weather, you really don't want to get out unless it's like absolutely life-threateningly necessary. And that's a rare occasion. If you can, stay where you are. It's 10:30 on Thursday evening. If you can still get out and get a tank of gas before the moisture starts moving in on Friday morning, do that now. If you can pick up a few groceries before then, you might have an hour or two of daylight while the snow is starting to increase. But basically anything past sunrise Friday, that is within about another, give or take about 9 hours, you want to make sure that you're in place and ready to hunker down and not get out and get going. And there's another problem with this as well. Once all this moisture falls, and let me switch over here for just a second to our 7-day forecast so you can see a little bit more about what's going on. Now, let me go for the 3-day forecast here. We'll take a look at the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Was in a bit of a rush tonight, did not have the opportunity to get all of our graphics done, so we're showing you the 3 days instead of the 7 days to focus in on what's going on here. Now notice again, tomorrow, if we're lucky, the computer models are showing we might make a degree or two above freezing. Then we start to go downwards on temperatures below freezing again for Saturday morning. We go back up again on Saturday, maybe a degree or two out there. It depends on how much snowfall we get. If we get maybe less than 3-4 inches, we might not see too cold of a condition coming up into the next several days. If we get more than 4 inches of snow, that snowfall, that amount of snowfall can act as its own refrigeration system and can actually cool the surface of the earth off and the air above it, so it can basically refrigerate itself and keep the ice and snow and whatever's left over for a couple of days. That might stick around into possibly around areas beyond this forecast. Now, here's something else to take a look at. If we do get enough in the way of moisture that is melted on Saturday, take a look at Sunday's temperature, where we're down with clearing skies, the clouds go away, the heat from the day radiates away, and temperatures plummet on Sunday morning. That right there, I think, is going to lend itself to some flash freeze situations where whatever melts freezes in place, and then it's a good possibility Sunday morning getting out and about for church, Sunday school, whatever you're going to, there's going to be some black ice problems out there, which means it's going to look normal as you drive over a place, and then you're going to start skidding because it's totally frozen over. Even though it didn't look like that, that is a real threat, and that is something I think to really be concerned with on here for that nature. Now, while I'm talking again about what we're looking at here, let me just poke my head into the school day forecast tomorrow, and two things on here. Number one, closings and delays, and there's already a bunch of them. You can get that at our website, wdef.com/weather. We've already got quite a lot of closings out there. Hamilton County schools with Chattanooga, I believe they are out tomorrow. Not everybody has closed down just yet, and they're probably waiting to make a decision until tomorrow. But here's just a little thing for the schools that are saying, well, I think we'll try to eke in a couple of hours of school, and then we'll send the kids home after that. When you have this snow coming down into the hours of the morning, as it starts school, you can get the kids to school quite possibly. But then in a couple of hours' time, when there is a lot more snow coming down out there, and even some snow and rainfall toward about the early to mid sections of the daytime, especially right around lunchtime, getting the kids home again is going to be much more difficult because the weather is going to deteriorate, as will the roadways. I think it was 2016 in Memphis, the Shelby County school system decided to hold school, get the kids to school, even though it was coming down as freezing rain and ice when the kids were going to school. They basically delayed school for a few hours and then said, nope, we're going to send everybody home once again. Would have been far easier for everybody involved to just say, okay, enough school for the day, let's close it down. Now, we are in no way suggesting what you should do. We don't want to be in a legal situation on that. All I'm doing is telling you what the weather is saying and what previous experience has taught me about situations like this. This is not where you want to be out and about. You may be able to do some in the early morning hours, but again, anything past sunrise, really all bets are going to be off, especially again as you see temperatures here back into the lower 30s at best as we go into Friday afternoon. So it's going to be a mishmash. It's going to be a lot of different types of moisture out there, and tomorrow is going to be again the idea that you need to be protected and make sure that everybody stays safe out there. That includes walking the dog. So if you're going to be out and about in the morning, definitely want to make certain that you are ready to go, because all that moisture is going to be a problem into and around the area of past sunrise and will be increasing throughout the rest of the morning. Thanks to Rayleigh Hawkins from Decatur for a review of Nugget, all dressed up for the holidays. That's our dog walking forecast, pupper picture of the day. If you've got pictures, please send them in to us at wdef.com/dogwalk. Let me see if I posted it up there. I don't think that I did. So we will borrow the 7-day picture of the day. Thank you very much to Wayne Carpenter from Decatur for his weather picture. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Nice view. Not too sure if it's sunrise or sunset, but a very beautiful cloud selection out there. If you've got weather pictures, let's see them, and we'd love to show them to everybody in the weather window. So all you do is send them to us by email, pictures@wdef.com. You can drop them to our social media pages. Please give us a description and or location. You can be anonymous if you want to, but just give us some idea as to what you were looking at and where. Or you can go to Weather Window headquarters. That's very easy, again, at wdef.com/photos if you'd like to participate in that. And we'd love to see your pictures out there no matter what you send in, so please do so. Going out on the golf course tomorrow, you are a much braver person than I am, as we see again the potential for wind, rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow. I think your next best chance of playing any golf is probably going to be better part of a week away. And add to that, I think for going out for anything fishing, camping related, you're going to have to be bundled up and ready for some pretty raw conditions tomorrow, with temperatures just barely into the lower to mid 30s. So definitely want to take care of that. All right, quick check of the almanac page if we have that. Let's see, high today, way below normal, and low temperature as well, way below normal, not even close to the record low temperature of -4, last set back in 1886. Thanks to the National Weather Service for that. One more time, and just want to make sure that everybody's paying attention. Again, a winter storm warning is now in effect for all of the News 12 viewing area. That includes Hamilton County and the city of Chattanooga and its environs into and around all of the News 12 viewing area. Not only that, but we have winter storm warnings in effect for basically the entire southeastern United States area, give or take a couple of states. That, again, is showing just how powerful this particular system is. So if you are traveling anything around the areas where we may see the potential of problems into very early tomorrow morning, I'll have more coming up on the News 12 at 11. Chip Chapman will have more coming up on the morning show on Friday, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for that. If you'd like to, and this is a great opportunity to participate in what is known as citizen science. You don't have to have a PhD to help out with certain projects. All you have to do is use a pencil and a piece of paper, a smartphone, a smart tablet, anything like that, and you'll be able to track what goes on. Radar is great for looking at what's coming our direction. It can even tell, based on temperature algorithms, what may be falling in certain locations. But it's ground truth that we need. And that means you can help out on this by downloading the free MPing app that is available from the National Severe Storms Laboratory. That stands for Meteorological Phenomenon Identification Near the Ground. This is where you are able to say, well, I live in Chattanooga and I saw this. I live in Chicago and I saw this. Lived in Topeka, Kansas, and I saw this. This information can go to the National Severe Storms Laboratory as part of their project and give them the idea about what you saw. You have the radar information way up high with what they think is coming down to the ground. You verify that, and that is where you can help to make weather forecasts more accurate by using this app to report what goes on. It's a great opportunity to help out. It's totally free. You can look for it at the National Severe Storms Laboratory website. You can go to our website, wdef.com/weather, if you'd like to see a little bit more there. If you'd like to know more about severe weather and you live in Chattanooga and Hamilton County, the National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers 1/4 of the News 12 viewing area, will be holding an in-person Skywarn training session coming up in less than a month at the Old Harrison Elementary School, 5637 Highway 58 and Tyner Lane in Chattanooga. There is a catch. It is limited to 100 folks for the meeting, so you have to register in advance for a spot. If you are able to do so, if you want to do so, go to their website at weather.gov/MRX. That's the 3-letter code for the National Weather Service in Morristown. You show up, you take the course, hour and a half, depends on how many questions are asked and answered, and your opportunity to become a National Weather Service Storm Spotter volunteer will be a great opportunity for you to help your community watch for what goes on during severe weather. This is not a chase course. This is a spotter course. This is where you start to learn to become a storm chaser, but this is not about storm chasing. That is for experts only. And if you want to be a storm chaser, you train with the experts. You don't just go out and chase storms. Thanks a lot to the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club for providing Whiskey 4 Alpha Mike for providing refreshments for the participants at the meeting. I'm going to try to be there myself, but as it is at 6 o'clock, I may not be able to. Plus, we'll see what the weather is as we are getting into that time of the year where it may be a bit of a problem. All right, I think that should do it. We're going to go ahead and throw it back to your regular Thursday evening. I've got to get set and ready for News 12 at 11, so stay tuned for more on that, and we'll keep you updated on the forecast. Again, please check out our website. You can find out more at wdef.com/weather. That's where the replay of this netcast will be placed here in just a few minutes, so you can find out more about what went on and look back and scroll through, scrabble through as necessary on there. Again, you can find out more at our website at wdef.com/weather. Find me on all these social media pages, minus Facebook and Twitter. Twitter has become kind of a dumpster fire, and Facebook kicked me off almost a year ago because somebody hacked me, and none of my ID is good enough for them to log back on again, so I guess I'm off Facebook entirely. So at this point in time, it's becoming less and less of a painful thing and more of a probably pretty good thing, I would say. Anyway, that should do it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us on Twitch. And again, please keep it tuned to our website, our social media pages, and more so we can keep you advised as to what's going on. I'll be on tonight at 11 Eastern Time. Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early on the morning show starting at 5 a.m. Eastern, and I'll be back to monitor stuff through the rest of the day as this winter storm makes its way through. Thanks for joining us for Thursday evening. Again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick, live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thanks for joining us. Please stay safe if you're in the path of this storm, and stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online.